Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike replay video. My name is Adam and this is my friend Tarron.
Hey buddy.
And we are talking about Gauss Rifles!
Yes! No more introduction to be done.
So no sort of big daka sound, or it's more like a vroom.
Yeah.
Let's get a giant slug and just hurl it at things to do damage.
Supersonic
speed.
speed.
You not like that?
It's
so
awesome.
Cool. There's quite a few versions of these weapons as well, actually, for the Hemisphere and the Clan.
Considering what it actually is, there's a surprisingly large number of versions. I mean, I've had more than one mech lose its head to a Gauss Rifle, so I love them, but I hate them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So it does use ammunition, but the ammunition itself is not explosive. It's just a big chunk of metal, essentially. The damage comes from when you actually hit the weapon, because it's got a magnetic field.
So
it does damage.
You're basically accelerating a metal thing with magnets. So the little metal slug doesn't explode, but all the magnetic forces that you're building up in the weapon, if you release them the wrong way, it just goes.
Yeah.
But let's get our table up. Bing! And you can see there the standard, everyday, bog standard Gauss Rifle. Bog standard.
Well, the very first one, we'll say, from Star League, the
Gauss Rifle.
Yeah, the Gauss Rifle. Yeah.
Is one heat for 15 points of damage at a max of 22 range.
Wow. So you've got a head chopper weapon for bugger all heat.
That's it. Done. Over with. Boop. You don't need any other versions. You don't need extra ammo. You don't need extra anything. Just put one of them on your mech and bang.
And you're happy.
Yep. Go the Hollander round. I still love that mech. I reckon it's cool.
It is too.
For those of you that don't know, it is basically just a light mech with as much of it stripped off as possible so that they can stick a Gauss Rifle in the shoulder. There's the mech's this big and the Gauss Rifle. It's insane.
That's cool.
Yeah. But they do very little heat, and they do a boatload of damage at extreme ranges.
And it's all in the one location. None of this scatter stuff. It's bam.
Yeah, and like I say, I've had at least 2 mechs die from head hits with Gauss Rifles. It's rude. Very, very rude. And there are assault mechs out there that will carry multiples.
Oh yeah.
So watch your heads, people.
Yeah.
You also have a light version, which manages to push the range out just that extra little bit, and does slightly less damage. So it's still one heat, but it does 8 damage, which I think for an extra 3 points of range is not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
So the Free Worlds League made a little light tank. I think it was about 30 tons or 35 or something. The main, I don't know how to pronounce it, main gauge.
Oh,
you know, the swords,
I know the one, yeah.
Where it's based on
Gauge.
Yeah, gauge. But it's so that's pretty much the main weapon that it had. It wasn't turret mounted. It was just front. But it was that. It just had this huge range.
The one I like that when we were playing at the club, I got like 3 of them, is the alicorn. That is an insane tank. It's a heavy tank with 3 Gauss Rifles and a turret. And it's just, you sit that on a hill somewhere and no one will come near you.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, it is nasty.
It's the best.
The fluff for that's quite funny as well.
Oh, okay. Not off the top of my head.
There's this brand of beer.
Oh, okay. This will be good.
I said beer, so you're like,
I'm like, let's do this.
Tell me more.
I'm not much of a beer drinker, but...
So it's called Ferro beer, and the can is shaped like a pyramid. So that's what the thing is.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah.
But what it was is the can was the perfect size for measuring the tracks and the spacing between the main chassis and where the track actually goes around. So for maintenance and servicing and things like that, the crew could just use this to measure. So as you can imagine, they measured thoroughly, regularly. There was never a problem with that. Do you think I was telling you something about the tank? It's not. It's about this random brand of beer.
I could just imagine them lift it up on a jack and just start the tracks going and going. That one's going okay.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, Macca, break it there, buddy. All right, reverse.
That's it, yeah.
All right, check it again.
But yeah, you're right. It is a nasty tank.
It's a nasty
weapon
tank.
that they put onto a nasty tank.
There are quite a few decent sized mechs that have Gauss rifles in various combinations, and they're all pretty nasty.
The Thunderhawk's pretty well known. So that has 3 of those guns on it. That's 100 tons.
The Highlander has a decent weapon array, and pretty sure it's got a Gauss rifle in there. There's quite a few that have. You're leaning more towards assault because it does weigh 15 tons. Even the light Gauss rifle weighs 12.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up much space though.
No.
Comparatively, 15 tons and 7 spaces. An Act 10 takes 12 tons and 7 spaces. To be able to do just the 8 points of damage at, what was it, 25 hex range or something for the light? 25 for the light Gauss rifle and 22 for the standard.
Yeah.
That's even the 22. That's again further than LRM range.
Yeah.
LRM range is 21, and these things are 1 hex and 4 hexes past that. And it's just rude. Like I say, you sit an alicorn or one of those Mangouche ones on there at one end of the table and have your normal units doing this, and this guy just sits here. You put a decent, solid gunnery crew in it, and you just ping things from half a mile away.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Terrible. But there is a heavy version as well. So
we were just reading the rules of it. It's insane.
The Lyran Alliance, my favourites, have come up with a heavy version.
I've never read it before.
And this is so funny. So it's weird. Like, this one's a bit different because it does a different amount of damage depending on the range.
Yeah, so it's got one of those variable range damage things that we did with the snub-nosed PPC.
That's right.
The first one.
So I'm just going to have a little look on here. So the range is 6, 13 and 20. Damage at short range, 25 points. So 25, 20 and 10.
Yeah,
but it still has that range. So 10 points at long range is fine. But 25 points of damage to one location.
At 6 range, 25 points. That's not bad. One downside of the Gauss rifles that we haven't mentioned yet is the minimum range. So they all have a minimum range. Well, I don't think the clan versions have a minimum range, do they?
Actually, I think they do.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, the poor little buggers. How do they cope? I mean, really.
Be nice.
Oh yeah, they do too. Look at that. So the clan version of the Gauss has a 2 minimum range.
Same as the Insphere.
Yeah. The light is a 3 and the heavy Gauss is a 4.
4, yeah.
So worth considering.
There's another thing you have to worry about with the heavy though. If you spend any movement points, so this doesn't count for like vehicles, like tracked and wheeled or whatever, because they don't have to worry about it because they don't do piloting checks. But if you're a mech, if you spend any movement points, you have to do a piloting check if you fired that weapon. You get a bonus if you're an assault class, so depending on what weight class you are, you'll get a modifier on your piloting.
Yeah.
And that will stack with any other sort of damage that you take, like your gyro and your leg hits and things like that, so you've got to keep that in mind.
Yep.
But it's like, if I want to move and fire this weapon, I've got to do a piloting because it's just got so much kick.
So it goes assault, heavy, medium, light, and you've got -1, 0, +1, +2.
Yeah.
And you have to roll that for each heavy Gauss that you fire.
Yeah.
So if you've got multiples of these on an assault class mech, then you're making multiple skill rolls every turn if you fire them and move at the same time. And
so
that's
So there's two mechs of note, and they're both from the Lyran Alliance.
Okay.
So the first one was it's 100. I think it's 100 tons, pretty maximum.
Probably
or something. Assault class, and it was designed specifically to showcase these new guns. And it has 2 of them. Wow. And they take up a lot of slots. I think they're like 15 slots or something. So it really it fills it right up.
Yeah. So the heavy Gauss is 18 tons and 11 slots.
Yeah. So it really does fill it up. But it has 2 of these guns on it. It's in English it's Fafnir, but it's based. I don't know. Maybe it's got some other pronunciation from Norse or
No.
whatever, the Fafnir, but that's what it is. Yeah, so it's got 2 of these on there, and it's brutal, absolutely brutal. And the second one it wasn't designed specifically for it, but when they released the weapon, they said, "Oh yeah, this could be quite good." The Bargast, which we've mentioned in one of the other videos.
No crap. Oh my god.
Yep.
There's a heavy Gauss version.
Yep. I think it's got an ERPPC and that's the only 2 weapons it's got. But the good thing is, because it's a quad, quads get a -2 bonus if there's no damage or that sort of thing on their piloting.
Yeah.
So it made sense.
The Bargast is assault class, isn't it?
Or
is it heavy?
70 or 75, so it's like heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
But it's still a 0 modifier plus your -2 for being a quad mech.
Yeah.
So you could move and shoot that with that, and that is just rude.
So you've got a mech with lateral shift capability, bonuses on its piloting to move and fire with this big weapon.
Wow.
It's good. It's good.
The only thing that I'm thinking that might let that down is you only get 4 shots per ton.
There ain't nothing left. There's nothing left to shoot after 4 shots.
4 shots, you're dead. I don't care. You're gone.
But it's quite versatile because it still has that range. Yes, the damage drops, but it's really cool.
But it's something like a Bargast. I mean, the Bargast isn't super fast as far as mechs
It's
goes.
5'8",
but
it's not too
it's
bad.
a fast mech for the size.
Yeah.
It's fast. So you can get that within your 6, but outside the 4. So 5 and 6 range. If you can calculate yourself into that position, you are doing 25 points of damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's rude. For 2 points of heat, I might add. 2.
2, yeah.
That's really, really good. I like it.
So the clans had it was like the Jade Falcons invented one for like infantry and battle armor or something. That's what they
Yeah, it's like an anti-personnel version of the Gauss Rifle. So instead of a solid metal slug, it accelerates a group of flechettes, which is just like little needle type things for those of you that don't know. Some people aren't up on their warfare. So a flechette is like a little tiny dart, needle, whatever, of metal. And you fire a whole bunch of them at once. And this just accelerates them the same as the heavy slugs do in a Gauss rifle, but it's designed to wipe out battle armor and infantry units. And that's the AP version.
Yeah, so it does basically burst fire damage versus conventional infantry.
Yeah.
But it has enough damage that it can threaten your battle armor.
It can do 3 points of damage. It's listed as having 3 points of damage, but it's got all the bonus stuff for being an anti-personnel weapon and stuff like that. So against infantry and battle armor, it's nasty.
But it was like, what, half a ton and a slot or something? I think that's what
half a ton in one slot, I'm pretty sure we worked out.
And 40 odd shots a ton, so you're getting lots of shots. You could just stack them up. Yeah,
it's standard medium laser range, so out to 9. Half a ton, 1 critical space, and 40 shots per ton. So that would be one that you would put on your bigger, slower mechs to stop the battle armor and the standard infantry from getting too close.
Yeah.
And as a backup weapon if you need it, sort of thing, against mechs, but it's primarily for anti-personnel.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
It's still rude.
Speaking of the clans, they have their own version, a HAG, Hyper Velocity or something?
Hyper Assault Gauss Rifle.
Assault Gauss Rifle, yeah.
The HAG. Well, the HAGs. You've got a HAG 20, a HAG 30, and a HAG 40. So it's basically it's kind of like a cluster version of the Gauss Rifle.
Yeah.
They all go out to 24 range. They all do fairly low amounts of heat, but they do build up a bit more than a standard Gauss Rifle. So you've got a 4, a 6, and an 8 for 20, 30, and 40. And they don't have a heck fire of a lot of shots. I mean, the HAG 40 only gets 3 shots per ton.
Yeah.
Which is not good. That's not good.
Points, though.
Yeah, but they've got some pretty funky rules.
It rolls on the cluster, doesn't it?
You basically just do a cluster hit. So when you hit a target, you roll on the appropriate column of the cluster hit table, but apply a +2 at short range and a -2 at long range. Treat a result less than 2 as 2 and a result greater than 12 as 12. So if you can get close and fire off a Hag 40, then you get a +2 to your cluster roll on a 40. And that's rude.
Here we are worried about the clan Hunchback 2C with its twin Ultra 20s.
Put a couple of Hag 40s on there and a few dozen tons of ammo and you'd be alright. You probably still have more armour on there too.
You probably couldn't walk.
No, probably not.
Can't afford an engine, sorry.
They're 16 tons and 10 spaces.
Yeah.
So they take a lot of space and tonnage up. But you're dividing your damage into 5-point groupings and rolling as normal. Now, one of the downsides that we've already mentioned, but we haven't given you the actual damage values, if the weapon is hit, it will explode.
Yeah.
Alright, so a standard Gauss Rifle is what, 20?
20 points.
Light Gauss Rifle is 16. So if the weapon itself takes a critical hit, you treat it as an ammunition explosion of that value. Okay? So it's a 20 point, 16 point. The heavy Gauss is 25.
25.
And the Hags have different ones. So a Hag 20 is 10, Hag 30 is a 15 point explosion, and the Hag 40 is a 20 point explosion. You can use it as flak, and it can use a targeting computer, which we'll go into later.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it with aim shots while we're just talking about that.
Probably not, no.
So, but
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no aim shots. But it's just rude.
Yeah.
It's just completely rude. I mean, if you get that 40 points of damage, you need an 11 or a 12. You need an 11 or a 12 to get the 40 points of damage. And then they split that up, and that would be eight 5-point groupings.
Yeah.
Which is, that's not good. That's not good at all. And the lowest it goes is 12. So the bare minimum you're going to end up doing is 12, as long as you hit.
I mean, it's risky to put them on a light mech, but the clans are doing it.
Are they?
Yeah, like with the standard designs that came with the original invasion of the Inner Sphere, they had light mechs that were carrying one of those. It's like their standard Gauss. I mean, they can do it. All their technology is so light. But it's horrible. Imagine being one of the pilots for the Inner Sphere and suddenly you're getting a slug. You know what the weapon is. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, no. I mean, you probably get that reaction with pretty much everything when you go against the clans.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Gauss Rifle is one of the few clan weapons that is basically the same as an Inner Sphere weapon.
Yeah.
Right? So it's one of the few that are there. Almost all the rest are better in some way. But yeah, if you were facing off against something that you thought had a Gauss Rifle and then suddenly that happens, you just...
You said,
no.
Well, the pay needs to go up.
I'm
or
out.
something.
Get the ejects. Boop, bye.
That's interesting. That's very cool though.
I like them.
Yeah.
They're very cool. But yeah, like I say, that 3 shots per ton and 16 tons for the weapon itself.
Okay, so there's certain chassis that are going to be favouring having that, so you'll keep that in mind. But
Yeah.
that is a lot of damage.
That's
a
a
lot of damage.
boatload of damage, and you're still getting your crit seeking bonus on that too. I mean, you're doing potentially 40 points of damage, but you're doing it in groups.
Yeah.
So if you can get a couple to group together, then you can do some massive damage. But if you've got a mech that's already taken some damage and you're rolling those dice, you're getting criticals, and it's got the best of both worlds there, really.
Yeah.
Clans don't like them. Don't like them at all.
But the weapon, we like.
Oh, we love
I
the
like
weapon.
the style. I like the
Rip the weapon
bit
off.
of variety. So yeah, as long as you can sort of not take damage yourself, you can really make a difference on the battlefield with those weapons. They are just awesome.
They're insane. But just Gauss rifles as a class
Yeah.
are insane weapons. They're really, really good. If you want to have a really solid, heavy hitting lance or star or level 2 or whatever it is they do, consider including a variant with some Gauss Rifle action.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really good. And like I say, alicorns.
Look them up. Look them up, yeah.
Look them up. They're really good.
Alright. Well, I think that's it for those. We've got some other weapons to talk about in the next video, so
I can't get rid over the heavy Gauss thing.
Okay. We'll have to. I definitely want to feel. I've got some of those miniatures. I'm going to have to.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's.
That's all right.
You're going to wear it.
I'll do my best to get around it. It's all good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye, guys.